Hi. This video has nothing to do with bicycles. It's about staying safe when using computers or smartphones on the internet generally, but not only online. In other words, how to make sure that your passwords, bank accounts and your privacy is safe. I know it's a very general topic, but I will be hitting the high points, as the Americans say, in this video. And I wish to make a disclaimer that everything that I say and show in this video is to be interpreted as to the best of my knowledge or as far as I know. And in plain English, I don't want to take any responsibility if you have any problems by following my instructions or by not following them to the full. This is what's worked for me, what's proven to be okay, and that's what I will be talking about. And whenever I say in this video, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, it should be interpreted as I think that this is not a smart thing to do or it is a good thing to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, sorry for the long prelude. Now, when we're talking about security, the first thing that I want to stress is that nothing is 100% safe. By definition, a system that is 100% safe is useless. There always is some way on every system, whether it's a lock or an account or computer or anything, there is a way for the authorized personnel to access, and that is also very often a weak spot that can be exploited. It only differs by how much time, money, knowledge, experience, equipment you need in order to breach it. But whenever I hear something being 100% secure, I'm very, very skeptical. However, there is a way to be reasonably secure without too much hassle, and a vast majority of people don't take even these basic precautions. And that's what I will be talking about in this video. So we'll first start with your computer or smartphone. I'm not a fan of constant updates, upgrades and everything else, but when it comes to security, it is a good idea to have your browser up to date and to have your computer system up to date, because patches for any security problems that have been noticed are updated and published, and you should make use of that. So not like here, I hope you can see on my screen, my browser is not updated. I should click this and make sure to reinstall and update it. Okay, that's the first thing that's bad. Another thing is, if you're using Windows or Linux or Mac OS, you should update it. And let's see, this system is not up to date, and it will clearly show. Here, as you can see, a lot of updates are missing, and I should install at least these security updates that are now being downloaded and will be installed, and I will be asked to restart my computer. So that's another thing to pay attention to and make sure that your computer is updated, at least with those critical security updates. Next comes the virus protection, antivirus. Windows comes with built-in decent anti-malware and virus scan, but you should look into it. It makes sense for Windows users especially to look into a better separate solution. In my experience, Asset Node does a good job. Let's see. This is their official website, and for home use you can get these relatively cheap offers that don't cost an arm and a leg and will provide reasonable security, in addition to using common sense and other precautions. And free software that I think is not too bad. It has its downsides, but is this is it, 360 total security. Opinions are divided, but my opinion is that it is okay and it does the job if you want to go for free on Windows. Okay, now when it comes to computer security, The biggest problem, apart from viruses and hacks, are breached accounts, stolen passwords, and things like that. For keeping your passwords safe, I recommend this software, KeePass. That is the format for storing all your passwords and everything. And the software that I use for it on Windows, Linux, and other systems is KeePass XC, and it does a good job. Now we will install it and see how it is used and how you can safely guard and protect your passwords. We will be downloading it now. Okay, I want 64-bit. Okay, here it's being downloaded. Okay, while it's being downloaded, I want to say that many people use only 1 or 2 passwords on many different accounts, and they often think that their password is better than it really is. That's another problem, and just as important problem is that if you use the same password on several different systems like Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, and so on, your computer, your mobile phone, if any of those systems gets breached, and systems get breached, nothing is 100% secure, then those passwords will end up in a list of broken passwords, and they will be used for future brute force attacks and dictionary attacks. I won't be going into that. There are articles on my website about security, but to get back on point, having the same password used on different accounts is a big risk, and that should be avoided. But of course, we cannot memorize dozens of different passwords that are good and strong. That is why I like using programs like this one that I'm downloading right now, because it allows me to use only one password, one strong password that I can memorize, and use it for all of my accounts. Okay, so now I've downloaded it. I will start the installation and guide you through the installation process. Okay, next. Deal with the devil. Okay, it's a open source software. It's free and there are no catches and gotchas, but of course, like everyone else, you should read this in detail. Take notes. Okay, I want a desktop shortcut, and do I want it all to start at login? No, not really. Okay, we're ready to go. Install. All right, it's been installed. Now we can launch it. Do I want the software to check for updates on startup? Well, okay, that's probably a good idea. Now I have the option of opening an existing database or creating a new database for storing all of my passwords, and that is what I will do now. Let's create a new database. Okay, database name. Okay, this looks good. Description. Okay, let's go on. These options can generally be left as they are, no need to get into it too much. You can increase the decryption time, giving the computer more time to decrypt and letting it make a stronger encryption. So you can play with this. If it's not too frustrating for you to wait for the whole 2 or 3 seconds, it could drastically improve the protection and the security of your database. And you choose this latest database format, and that's about it. The other options are needless to touch. Okay, now I need to enter password. I will click on this to show me what I'm typing, and this is the important part where I will talk and bother you a bit with how to create secure passwords. A secure password is not your birth date or the birth date of your friend or relative or something like that, or the name of your dog. Anything that can be related to you is generally not a good idea for a password, because if someone really is up to figuring it out, they will do their background checks and find out things about you. No matter how paranoid it sounds, there are kids who do that just for fun, to see that they can breach a system or anything. And that's one thing. Another thing is that password should be long, at least 20 characters long, because brute force attacks try to breach a system by guessing all the possible combinations from 1 to 1 million, and every letter that you add in length makes that password exponentially more difficult to break. That is, it takes exponentially more time to break it, even with a very strong computer. 25 or more letters in a password are generally a safe bet. I would say that 20 letters is the absolute minimum. And now there is no need to make the password be very complicated for you to memorize. That is a common misconception, and again, this is my opinion based on my experience, because if I take 5 random words, that password is very difficult to break with brute force, even if using dictionaries, but only if I really use random words that I can somehow associate, but that don't really have anything to do with me and are not standard. I will show you what I mean by using a silly sentence that will sound like very simple to break right now, but when you have no idea what the password is, you have no idea how long it is difficult to break. I will start by typing this. Now you may laugh, but I think it's a pretty good password that I will not be able to use because I've used it for the video, but anyway. Okay, here we have a funny sentence: dry pants are godsend. Okay, that has a certain number of letters. We can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, that's 18 letters long. It's not a very long password, it's not a very secure password, but I think it's a good start and a good way to think about passwords. Make a word combination that no one sane would ever make, but that you can easily memorize. Okay, now we need every password to have some sort of special characters and caps and lower caps letters, like big and small letters. So we will play with this password that is a starting point. We will play with it a bit. I will decide for this password that I want every second letter of every word to be a capital letter. The person trying to breach the password has no idea that I chose to do that. It's even better if you do that on random, but this is good enough because the person breaking the password has no idea what words are being used. So you can go for every third or every fourth or whatever. Let's try now. Okay, this looks a bit better, but it's still not good enough. We need some numbers and special characters. In order to achieve that, I will say, let's replace every letter A with the number 89. Okay, that's a good number. It should be random. It should have nothing to do with your date of birth or anything else. Let's replace it with number 89. And if it's instead of a capital letter A, I will press Shift, and the first number will be the code I get for using Shift and that number. And at the same time, I will say, let's exchange another another of these letters for numbers. Let's say letter T. We'll change letter T with number 14. Okay, so it's 89 instead of A, and T it will be for number 14. So let's try now. Now I'm not typing letter A, but shift number 8 and then 9. Then again, instead of letter A, 89. Then capital second letter. And I forgot about the letter T, the first one. Okay, so this looks complicated, but if you have one of the passwords like this, you should be able to memorize it pretty well. Let's try it again. Okay, did I miss something? Are both passwords identical? I don't know how I managed to do this, but instead of typing capital O, I hit the adjacent button. This is important to pay attention to when you are creating a password, and that is why most password programs insist on repeating the same password again, so that you know what the password is. Okay, now we've created a password for our database, and let's hit done. Now we need to save our password. You can save it however you like. I will not be using any spaces or special characters like this in file names or special letters, because they will create problems down the line. It's best to stay clear of them when you are using directory names or making file names. Just use minus or that down slash and normal letters of the English alphabet, nothing more exotic. Okay, so now I've saved the database for my passwords. And this is it. I can start playing with it. But here, let me show you how you will start when you are opening the already saved password database. So let's say we close this, and let's try to open it again. Okay, I'm being asked for my password, and the software is trying to open the last open database before it was closed. So in this case, that is BikeGremlin tutorial password. Okay, let's try again. What did we say? Every second letter is capital. Then 89 instead of letter A. Then 14 instead of letter T. So dry pants are, 89 are God send. Okay, let's see if this works. We set 2.5 seconds. Invalid credentials. Let's see where I had made the mistake. Okay, I will have to rewind the video and see where I made the mistake. It looks complicated. You can make something that's longer with more words. That makes it a lot more secure, even if you don't do too much changes with special characters and letters. It's better to have just a long set of random words. It's very difficult to breach when you have no idea what it is about. But have one good password and make sure you memorize it. You know how to remember it and reconstruct it, but this is the basic. And now we have a database. We can create any sort of structure here. I can create a new group. Let's call it, the next thing that we will be doing is file storage. Okay. And this is where I will be storing the passwords for file storage. And here the first thing that I will do is create for a new entry for a software called MegaSync. Okay. I'll later fill it in, and now let's create a new group for emails. Okay. We'll fill it in later. Now we need a secure email. Here you will have already one of your emails, so there's no need to do this. But for this tutorial, I'll be making a new Gmail account. Let's see if this is available. I will copy this into my password manager as username. Okay, now let's get back. And I need a password. Getting back to the password manager, and I will ask it to create a password. I want it to be long, and I want to use all of these special characters. And let's see what this program made. This does not look bad. Copy, apply password. I want it here, and that's it. I will see now if this account is available, and I will be using this password by pasting it here. I can see what I pasted, and let's try. Cool. Now they want a phone number for whatever reason. It's, how do I say, privacy is not very, it's for security so that you can log back into your account, but I don't feel comfortable sharing my email with Google, especially for a dummy account. Sharing my phone number, and try to avoid this. Okay, let's see if we can avoid providing a phone number to Google. Okay, it's still possible. Cool. Express, okay. Okay, deal with the devil. Yes, my soul, my everything. And this is important part. You never ever want to save your passwords in a browser. It's not a secure, encrypted way, and never ever do this. There is a software called LastPass, we'll get to that, but saving it in your browser is not a good idea. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, now we have a Google account. Going back to our password manager, and we will say OK, and we will save the file now, just in case. Okay. Database save is already in progress. Okay, It's automatically saved. Works a bit different on Linux, and it's possible to configure it here. So automatically save every change. I don't like this, I want more control. Okay, that's better. Alright, so we will use this account to create a mega account for our save file storage, and I'll explain why I'm doing that. Okay. Next thing we go is go to mega.nz, and we want to create a free account in order to use a safe encrypted file storage where we will save a copy of our KeePass file where our passwords are, so that we can access it wherever we are. You can always create a local copy. There is a software on your mobile phone. I like this option for iPhone. It's very good, high quality. This is it, but this one is good for iPhone, and it's worth the money, I think. I'm using it. Anyway, now we are using this, and we want to create an account. First name. And now our cryptic email. Of course, you should have a safe Google account with two-factor authentication. Email is very important to be secure. We'll get to two-factor authentication in a minute. Long, boring, tedious, useless video, as I promised. Okay, now we want a password. The only important password to remember is for this software. Everything else can be generated. So here we will generate a password for MegaSync. I will ask it politely to give me a strong password, and this is good. Let's see what this looks like. Not bad. Okay. I can have it retry as many times as I like by just clicking on this button, and I can also click this to regenerate. Okay, never mind, it's long, it's got everything, it's difficult to crack by brute force. Of course, I'll be closing all these accounts before I publish the video and changing the passwords and everything, but this is for demonstration. Let's go. Okay, apply password, it's here. Okay, now we can copy paste it. Let's show it. Select copy, and let's use it here. And they are asking, they say it's strong. Okay, I'm happy with that. I understand if I lose my password, I lose my data. They swear that they don't keep passwords and cannot recreate your password and decrypt your data. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it's as secure as I could find for online storage solutions that are globally available. Okay, I understand the terms of service, the deal with the devil. As always, small letters, lawyers excel at this stuff, and I won't be getting into it. Please check your email to confirm your account. Okay. Let's check our email. Here it is. They want us to make sure that we have entered the correct email, thus verifying. So I'll click here. Yes, okay, activate. Now we're rolling. Okay, now they want the password. I already have it saved, so I can just copy paste it and confirm. All right. You can pay for any of these. If you do so, please use my affiliate link and support my work. It's here, Net Technology Storage. This is advertising break. Cloud storage options on website io.bikegremlin.com, and let's see, Mega. Here it is, my affiliate link. Anyway, let's get back to this. Closing this. They are offering you to pay pro version that lets you have more bandwidth and more storage, but for basic needs the free version is enough. I'm using the free version and not paying for this still, and there's no one-time payment, only monthly payments, and that's a bit of a hassle for me. And so donations or using just the free version. Alright, I'll choose to get started for free, which is what I recommend you do. Okay, now this is recovery key. it's important to save it just in case, and it allows me to download it. All right, and here it is. I've downloaded it and I can open it, and this is it. This is just a plain text file. I will copy this into my password software. I want to save this, it's important. And for username, I've used my Gmail account. So I will also enter that here. Okay. Okay, let's accept all cookies. Yum, yum, yum. All right. Now I want to, this is okay. Going to emails. This is the username I used, my email as username. So I will put this here. All right. And I will save it. Now there is a thing to consider. The file that we had just downloaded is plain text file, and I don't want that left, so I'll press Shift and delete it. There are safer ways to delete files that override the empty space, but this is not too bad for start. I shouldn't have downloaded it in the first place. I should have just copy pasted it. So, but if you do manage to download it, make sure it's safely deleted, because you don't want any passwords in plain text on your computer or anywhere else. Okay, now let's get back to the Mega. Now I can download the software for that, and that is desktop application. Okay, I can choose for Mac, Windows or Linux. Let's use Windows. It's getting downloaded, and then I can install it. The installation process is simple. Just click next, next, yes, and you will be asked to enter your credentials to log in and to configure it. So I will cancel this download because I've already installed it, and let's click it here. And now it wants my email address and my password. Okay, so copy pasting and password. Okay, logging in, fetching file list. Okay, now it asks me what I want to do. I want full sync. I will choose a directory on my computer where all those files will be synced. That's if I want to make sure that I can access all the files that are uploaded to Mega on my computer. For this methodology, this is relatively safe because the online copy is encrypted, my computer is reasonably well secured, and my passwords file is encrypted. So even if someone gets a hold of it, they will need a lot of years to break the master password and to find out my other password. So I will use this option because I think for most normal people it is the most convenient one. So boring Windows. Okay. Uses Relia documents. No, I want to change this. Let's see. Tutorial, and here I will create a new directory. I will call it Mega Sync. Okay, and I will select it. All right, next. We're ready. Okay, it's running. Cool. Let's do something now. I will copy my database. I will copy it into the Mega Sync directory, and then I will be able to reach it wherever I am. Of course, I need at least one local copy of that database anywhere on my phone, or using that application that I had shown, or on my computer, because it also contains the password to reach the Mega storage. Alternative way is to have another good strong password memorized for your Mega storage. That is what I do just in case, but it's not really necessary in my opinion. So do as I say, don't do as I do. or memorize two good passwords, have a memorized password for the mega sync. Okay, so now if I make any more changes into this file, it will not be copied here, because this file that I've opened is this one. Okay, so that's another important thing to memorize. So I can now close this and then reopen the mega sync made copy, or I can do this database, save database as, and make another file, BikeGremlin tutorial password mega.nz copy. So there are several ways to do this, and now I've done it. There's no need to keep the old, because it's not going to be used anymore. Okay, I can delete it, and I can also delete this, because I don't want to make a mistake when I update a database to update the wrong one. I'll delete all the ones that are extra. Okay, now I have only this one. Here it is. Okay, that's what we are using here now. We've logged into it. Okay, now we have safe passwords and a safe way to store them and reach them globally wherever we are, or if our computer gets, hard disk gets broken offline, we have another copy. I suggest, just for precaution, that you create a sort of a directory or something on Mega and say backup, and create a backup copy of your password file, just in case it gets damaged or you save it wrongly or something, do anything silly. You want to be safe. And I will also rename it. It says copy, and I will say here, just enter the date. That should do it. This will clear once it gets synced using the Mega application. So, okay. Here it is. Now it's got little windows. Okay. We made a backup copy, and we will be, when we are done working, the latest change, we will copy it again in the backup just in case. And it's okay to also have an extra copy on your local hard drive, just in case. So 2 copies is a good idea. It's encrypted, so it's relatively safe to secure. Just I wouldn't carry it on a USB stick. That's a bit too risky, needlessly. Okay, now where were we? We have safe way to store passwords, and we have safe storage. Now we need to secure our email account. We should have done that in the first place, but we can do it now. Okay, so in order to securely secure our email account, we should configure 2-factor authentication, and that's in security, 2-step verification. I prefer this to using a phone. Okay, let's get started. It wants my password to confirm that it's me. Okay. Now it wants me to use a phone in order to get to configure it. The whole process is a bit, it's not too long. It's relatively simple and straightforward and easily explained. Just use caution, common sense, do it nice and slowly, and so you don't lock yourself out of your own account. But I think it's a good idea to have one secure email account, and to make sure it's secure, 2-factor authentication helps even with a strong password for things that are as critical as an email, because all your other services get tied to that. And if you forget a password for some other service, they usually offer to send you a password reset link to your email. So that's why it's crucially important to have a really secure email, while for other services 2-factor authentication, at least in my opinion, is not really necessary. A strong password is usually good enough. Just don't use the same password on every service. That's why we are using this software. But this is the principle we would have used to secure our email account. I will not be going into this anymore. Maybe make a separate video on that sometime. This will be too long already. Okay, for two-factor authentication, a good software is Authy. I wrote about that on my website as well. Start Net Technology Security and Privacy two-factor authentication. So it's here. And Authy. This is a lot better than Google Authenticator because it lets you make one copy for your computer and a separate copy for your mobile phone, or a third copy for your laptop or wherever you want it. So if one of those devices gets damaged, you still have access to your two-factor authentication codes that let you log into your services that are important enough for you to have set up two-factor authentication. Google authentication, for all I know, is still limited to having to use your smartphone, so in case your smartphone gets cracked or stolen, you don't have an easy way to get to using that. So this is good. It allows you to secure your Authy application with a password, so everything is encrypted on your computer, and until you enter the password you cannot access its abilities. So let's show it. Here it's asking me for a password in order to reach the functionality of using two-factor authentication. So that's a pretty safe and pretty good option. All right, so that is another thing. Two-factor authentication, it's not necessary for every service. In my opinion, people over-exaggerate, and there's no need to put it everywhere. It's inconvenient, and I think it's invented for people who use password administrator 123 or their name or their child's name or anything. But if you use a good password and a good password software like this one, you're good. Okay, so we've covered most of the things that I wanted to cover here, and now I will just get to this software, LastPass. Okay, this is something that many people recommend as a good way to store your passwords. You can create a free account and start using it. However, it has a big downside, in my opinion, and that is that when you try to export passwords from that software, they get exported in a plain text format like Excel table, or you get 2 or 3 to choose from. I couldn't figure out how to export it in an encrypted way that I can decrypt using a password. Unlike this software that saves all the passwords in an encrypted way. And that's a very, very big difference, and it's very important. Now, why would you want to download and save your passwords? Well, that is the other problem. If their service goes offline for whatever reason, fire, someone does something really silly and lets it run through the whole system or whatever, then you don't have access to your passwords and you're in trouble. It also allows you to use one master password, and then it memorizes everything, and it's very convenient because when you log into it, it will autofill your passwords to wherever service you go. You open Facebook, if you will be logged out, it will automatically enter your username and password for Facebook, so you can just click login, and it's very, very convenient to use. But I don't like that it does not store all the passwords locally, so that you have control of it in a safe way. You could make a fix of that by creating an encrypted directory on your computer, but I think that's a lot of hassle for most normal people, and I think KeePass is a better option. Also, in case anything goes wrong with their service, if you don't have a copy of your files, you're in trouble. And it's a service that is online, that can be hacked, and there are many passwords there, so it's very interesting probably to every hacker to play with it, and no system is 100% safe. On the other hand, mega.nz storage has, for all I know, very strong encryption, so someone will have to know your mega.nz username and have that's the first thing that you will not disclose, and have a decision to hack your mega.nz storage in order to log into it to get all your data and everything, and that's a lot more tricky to figure out. And even when they get to your account and download the file, they will need to have a way to decrypt it, and that will take years with a strong computer if you've used a good password. So that's, in my opinion, a safer way to store a backup cloud copy of your passwords without having too many risks. Of course, everything can be hacked, nothing is 100% safe, but it's better to have less risk than to have more risk. Of course, reducing risk often causes some inconvenience, and in this case the inconvenience is that you need to copy-paste passwords from your software, from KeePass, instead of having them automatically entered here. The way I solve this dilemma, this problem, is by using LastPass for the things that are not very critical, like forum passwords. Okay, even if my account gets hacked, I can contact forum administrators, they know me, I'm regular, we'll fix it. But I wouldn't store my Gmail password there or a password to my hosting account and things like that. That's too risky for my taste. However, having said that, using LastPass is 1,000,000 times safer than saving passwords in your browser. Never do that. Okay, this was probably the longest, the most boring, and the most useless video I've made. And the good thing is that I will probably not make another one like this. The others will be better, more interesting and more useful. Thank you if you've watched this video at least for a few minutes, and I'll see you some other time, hopefully with a wrench in my hand. And I also hope that at least some people will make use of this. And for those who find watching and a talking monkey tedious, they can look it up on my website, because I wrote articles about everything that I've mentioned in this video with a lot more details, and so you can easily skip to the parts of interest just by using table of contents. So it's probably a better idea to look there, and this search is powered by Google, so it's very good. Let's see what I have on security. Website, how to secure WordPress, domain and website securing, yes. All good articles, I recommend it. Okay, now I'm finishing. Again, thank you for watching, and cheers. If you like this video, you can click on subscribe and choose this bell option, select all, so you get notified whenever I upload a new video.